These are the stories
My little girl, she's changing lives just by being herself.
of organizations and people making a difference.
When you first tell someone about adaptive wheelchair boxing, it doesn't sound real.
And empowering others.
It saved my life. It saved my life.
Across Canada.
I scored my first goal in my first blind hockey game.
In our community.
I want to create a world where diversity and inclusion and disability is a common occurrence on our stage. I want to hear those stories. I want to show those stories. But I also want to show that someone who lives with a disability can engage in any role. And until we commonly cast people who identify as living with a disability in all our arts works, not just when we decide we want to focus on disability, we're never going to have true inclusion and diversity and a reflection of our real world on our stages. My name is Paul David Power. I am the founder and artistic director of Power Productions.
Paul Power fell in love with acting 25 years ago. He knew people with disabilities don't often get opportunities to be on stage, so he created them. These 5 people are about to become actors for the first time. Paul trained them in an acting workshop series that started about 8 weeks ago at the Froude Avenue Community Center.
We don't really have an arts community that's focused on accessibility, disability issues, disability stories, and I wanted to further that here in the province. So I created Power Productions to ignite interest from other people who might be interested in being involved in theater and have never had the opportunity or even know where to go to get experience. If you've ever been like with any theater group, whatever, we usually warm up to get our mind focused and everything just on what's going on in the room and focused on the people we are with and leave all that crap outside that's bugging us or stuff we have to do, just forget about it for an hour or two and focus on performing and creating. It's our first time here. I love it. The room we're going to be in, it's a wide open room. It's really bright. The floor is yellow. So whether it's gloomy out or not, the room seems to sparkle and has lovely windows all around. So it's a great place to create. We try to do with these workshops, anyone who's done it with me before, when we're doing like physical warm-up exercises and stretching and that, it's more about the feeling than the action. Meaning, if I want you to stretch like your right arm or get tension out of your shoulders or whatever, it's a stretch what it means to you. I self-identify as a male living with a disability, which I've had since birth. My legs did not develop as much as my upper body, and I need support, so I use leg braces and crutches, and usually am seen with my crutches as I walk. Charlotte, snapping her fingers. You feeling cool, Charlotte?
Yes, sir.
Charlotte's feeling cool.
My name is Charlotte Perrell, and I'm 20 years old. When I introduce myself and I say that I have a hearing loss, I just simply say that I'm hard of hearing or I wear 2 hearing aids or something along the lines of that. A workshop specifically like this where there's people with disabilities, I think it's a good way to as well connect with people with people that which you have something in common and life experiences in common and stuff like that. And I think it's nice because like it's focused on accessibility. So like if you're going to a workshop, you don't have to worry about something like, oh, what if the building isn't accessible or something like that. So I think that's good. And as well as like what I just mentioned about community and making new friends and just getting to know people, I think that's good for people personally.
Gabe, how you doing?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty excited to do a workshop for my first time.
Awesome.
Yeah. My name is Gabriel Liam Tucker, and I am 13 years old. I was diagnosed with muscular dystrophy when I was 2. Like I haven't really done anything like this before, and I thought it would be pretty cool to meet other people like me that that like would understand what it's like. Yeah, well, in school they usually have like a play, and certain people can like go for like parts. And I've tried to like I had a Lion King like concert one year. I wanted to be Simba, which is like a character from the Lion King, and somebody else got the role, and instead I was kind of on the side wearing black, being stage crew. Usually like go for like bigger parts, and I usually get like stage crew instead of like the big parts. Like, so it's pretty cool that I like kind of have that like opportunity to be in front of everyone and show what I can do.
So we're going to build a machine. So this is all about coming together and working as a team and getting a particular rhythm through sound. And what we're going to do is one by one, you're each going to come to the center of the room one at a time and make a sound or a movement. And what should happen is you all work together in rhythm to create a human machine. Dave's got some fancy footwork here in his chair. And he's making a sound, a scruffing sound on the platform of his chair. And we got sort of a tick-tock movement from Roger. Ultimately, what we try to do every cycle is give that experience of a live performance. So we're really excited. We got a great performance coming up for this one. I allowed them to choose what piece they would like to do. So we have some participants who have pieces that they've always wanted to perform in front of a live audience, but have never A, had the opportunity, and B, the confidence to do that. So we're really excited about that, and I'm really excited that it's their choice. So it means something to them when they perform it. Don't forget to do your exercises at home. All right, get out of here. Do your homework,
I already have too much of that.
Our community will return after the break. We now return to our community.
The most important thing about the workshops and who is participating, mostly all who are identifying themselves as living with some kind of disability, is there's very rare opportunities to come together as a disabled community to create in the arts world. It's two components. It feeds the artist's soul, but it also feeds our social need as part of the disability community to come together and create. Welcome back.
Welcome. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah. Thanks, Charlotte.
You're welcome.
In class.
My name is Roger AMI-télé. I'd just like to know the background from acting, what it takes and how to do it, and I don't think it's got anything to do with my disability. It's just a general interest at the time of my life. I'm going to retire within the next 5 years for George. So I don't know, maybe it's some other hobby I could take up.
So the beginning was awesome. You got their attention. And then I think by the end of the second stanza, you sort of went down with energy and volume. So let's try the first two stanzas again and try to keep that energy and level and volume up there.
Okay.
Okay.
It's hard to tell the picture tell when someone's work is done.
So I wanted to give performers, up-and-coming performers, newbies, the opportunity to play, to experience what it's like to be in a rehearsal, to learn about the different facets of theater, stage directions, working from a script. And we usually, at the end of a cycle of workshops, have a public performance to give that entire experience of performing for an audience from a piece that we've rehearsed. And once they finish the workshops, at least they have one under their belt and they know what to expect if they want to go out for another audition. Once Upon a Midnight Dreary. Get their attention with that.
Okay.
And then make them wait.
Once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered weak and weary. I'm going to be reading The Raven by Edgar Allan Poe. It's one of my favorite poems. I think it's a really good poem that can be read in front of an audience. Like, there's so much emotion, like potential for emotion and stuff like that that can be brought into it. And I think it's like a really good thing to read in front of an audience, and I'm very excited to do that.
How are you feeling about the show?
Good.
I'm feeling good too.
I think we're gonna kill it.
I think so too.
Yeah, I think we're gonna do really good. Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to it.
My name is Josh Benson. I'm a local comedian, so I find these workshops really helpful for my performances. Not only my acting, but we also do a little bit of improv, which is my favorite part of the workshop. And I find it really helpful for my comedy performance. When I actually started off, I actually had to bring my own little ramp in order to get in the venue, because there was a step up, and then I couldn't even use the washroom in there because there were 2 or 3 more steps up to the washroom. So whenever I had to go to the washroom, I had to go somewhere else.
The show is coming up soon. Next week we'll devote the most of the time to preparing for the show. And in the meantime, before next week, make sure you keep going over your scripts, because you cannot call for a line during the show. All right, I'm really, really proud of you guys. Really thank you for a great day.
Our community will return after the break. We now return to our community.
All right, ready? Go! Yeah! And Josh will take his position.
After weeks of hard work, it's show night. Before the audience comes in, they need to run the cues, feel the space, figure out their movement. Then just before the doors open, these actors go backstage. With an audience taking their seats and nerves setting in, this is it.
So we've just arrived here at St. John's City Hall in the EB Foreign Room. It's a great space for presenting, but it's also a very intimate space. It's a sort of a circular room with beautiful artwork and wood carvings all around. We get to set up the audience whatever way we want. So we set up the chairs sort of as a theater in the round. So the audience is really close to the performers when they're performing, which is kind of different than what we've done in the past. So there's really that feeling of intimacy, which helps us connect better with the audience. We're sort of all in this together. Good evening, everybody. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Paul Power. I'm the artistic director of Power Productions. I'd like to thank you all for coming out.
They say you do the strangest things. I somehow don't know how to react to them. But I was going to Sobeys the other day, and there's someone coming in the parking lot. The little old lady blocked me with her shopping cart. Before I could even say anything, she looked at me up and down, and she says in the most typical Newfoundland way, "Oh, you poor ducky. He'll have $10.
Then dinner rolls around, and whose dad grilled out and whose sister baked a cake,
Mine. After dinner, Dad's like, let's go to the movies. You pick, kid. Me, I never get to pick. It's only on the one day, every once in a while, when the stars line up and it ends up being perfect. Today's only been ruined, though, because when I got downstairs for breakfast, my little brother had eaten the last of my favorite cereal. Maybe my perfect day will happen tomorrow. Just one day every once in a while. Is that really too much to ask?
It's hard to tell the feature material when summer's work is done. Feet they cut, birds they shot, creatures they run. But nobody told a tale. Talk about Albemarle, as Grandpa Walker told that night in smoke room on call.
Once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered weak and weary over many a quaint and curious volume of forgotten lore, while I nodded, nearly napping, suddenly there came a tapping, as of someone gently rapping at my chamber door. "'Tis some visitor," I muttered, tapping at my chamber door. Only this and nothing more.
I'm Kim White. Well, I should let you know here, we're from Twillingate, so we're dropping at our H's. And so I'm going to apologize in advance for any confusion that may cause. But anyway, back to my father. He had a few colorful descriptors for St. John's, like hellhole, which is really kind of funny because dropping your H's, it was kind of more like hellhole. Oh, but once Mom and Dad and I had to fly from Gander into St. John's for me to go to have surgery. And I used to get severely carsick as a child, so we all desperately wanted to avoid the 5-hour trip to town. But you know, lovely St. John's, we got fogged out. Had to fly all the way back to Gander, take a bus to town.
I'm Lisa Tucker, and I absolutely loved the show. I thought it was great.
I'm Robert Chafe. It was fantastic. It's so great. I think the work that Paul and Power Productions does in this community to bring voices that we don't often see enough of on our stages to crowds is incredible. And the variety of voices tonight was amazing. And so funny and warm, and each of these performers had the audience completely wrapped. The attention was just beautiful, yeah.
I'm Tracy Duffy. It's just amazing to see such a variety of shows, and they've got so much comedy and inspiration, and it was a really great show. It kind of brought me from laughter to kind of sadness at times, thinking about the experiences that people have that you don't really appreciate until you see that they're out there sharing it with everyone. So it's always inspiring.
It was pretty nice to meet people like with disabilities like me, and I liked the workshops. They were pretty fun, and the show was pretty good. I felt a little bit nervous at first, but I took a deep breath and I just started and just imagined that nobody was there, and it helped me feel pretty confident, and I think I did a pretty good job.
Yeah, I've been involved with Power Productions off and on, but sadly, due to COVID, missed the workshop. But I was really fortunate to be able to jump in now and be involved in this portion. Oh my God, it felt awesome. The audience was amazing. Like for all the performers, they were so engaged, and you can really build off of that energy. You felt that they were a really engaged and friendly and supportive audience, so it was really amazing, actually. There's so many barriers, like I talk about in my monologue, like the barriers that society puts up, people don't even realize often what they are. So it's like we need to be very deliberate in making sure we're looking at all the ways to strip back the barriers and allow people to just come out and be involved in what they want to be involved in. You know, theaters traditionally are not very physically accessible to begin with, so you know, just even getting in the doors and seeing shows for them to be inspired to say, oh, maybe I could be on stage. If you don't even get in to see the show, you're never thinking about ever being on the stage, so it's huge to be able to break those barriers down for people.
Oh, it felt awesome. It felt really good. The crowd was really responsive. It's what you really want when you're performing. So that always goes a long way. And obviously we're working with some other great individuals who did an amazing job. So I'm just happy to be out here and working with these people with Power Productions. For me, it's really important to get my story out there and to let people know that more about disabilities and how at the end of the day, we're just like everyone else.
You worked really hard.
Get out there.
Our stages should reflect our world, and our world includes people with various disabilities, various challenges.
Everyone has a story to tell, and everyone has a right to tell that story if they want. And it's important to always have that as part of the show.
Written and directed by Krista Radovsky. Produced by Ruth Lawrence. Director of Photography, Rodrigo Iniguez Becerril. Editor, Sarah Blackmore. Composer, Jim Fiddler. Colorist, Steve Cook. Associate Producer, Paul David Power. Second camera, Graham Godden. Sound recording, Otto Quinton. Sound editor and mixer, Colleen Power. Production assistant, Cassandra Murray. Post-production, NIFCO. Live performance by Power Productions. Stage manager, Jacqueline Raymond Ottenheimer. Special thanks, Froud Avenue Community Center, City of St. John's. Narrator, Jim Van Horn. Integrated Describe video consultant, Ron Rickford.
An AMI original production.